jump on into it, and then whoever kind of jumps in, that will be fantastic. So you can 1000%, 1000, 1 million, whatever percent become the millionaire next door, but you're literally standing in your own way. Seriously. Now, I know that's a bit harsh, you guys, but listen up. After reading The Millionaire Next Door, my entire perspective on money has literally changed for life. And I do believe that if you're watching this, you're taking in these principles, that your life is going to change after at least listening to this brief synopsis, the summarized version of this book, so that you don't have to read all, 245 pages of it. So, I mean, if you want to hear, what's in here, if you care about that stuff, I know this is very different than natural hair content, but definitely watch this live all the way to the end so that you can level up your finances ASAP and get one step closer to, becoming the millionaire next door. If you aren't there already, I mean, I'm not. I'm on my way there, hopefully, God willing, but I'm not there yet. Here and Beyond. Hi, Here and Beyond. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you being a part of the Curlfriend crew today on this slightly different topic. Now, if you guys like personal finance, you like beauty, like natural hair content, then definitely go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit up the bell notification button to be notified every time I post a new video. Now, y'all, it used to be on Sundays, and Sundays are getting a little bit hectic on my end. So I think that I'm going to start posting videos. You know what? We'll keep to the Sunday, but if things are still a little bit haggard and all over the place, then we may change it. But for now, definitely every single Sunday, there will be a video. So for those of you who don't know, my name's Lavinia Latham. I'm a successful human rights lawyer and the founder of this YouTube channel, Find Natural Hair Rocks. Once upon a time, though, I was a broke university student. So, y'all, I was so broke. It was bad. It was really, really bad. It was tough, but it was for a good cause. And so I was this broke university student who knew absolutely nothing about financial health, financial well-being. To be perfectly honest, The Millionaire Next Door, this book right here by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko, is 245 pages of super dry and boring text. But nonetheless, if you really want this book's wisdom and you want it without the heavy, time commitment, without reading it, then this is going to be the video for you. So if you're that broke student, maybe a broke adult, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter what stage of life you are in, this book is going to be able, and this synopsis really is going to be able to help you kind of, move along in a direction that's going to be better for your financial health and well-being. So, intro. The authors were talking about this thing called under accumulators of wealth versus prodigious accumulators of wealth. So essentially, they were saying that they were doing this study type of a thing, and they were saying that millionaires are disproportionately clustered in middle class and blue collar neighborhoods. And they weren't actually in more affluent or white collar neighborhoods. So when I say affluent and white collar neighborhoods, I'm talking for Americans, people who live in the most expensive areas of Manhattan, or here in Canada, Forest Hill. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those neighborhoods where the houses are massive. You guys let me know what that area is in your particular town, but where the houses are massive, where there's a Ferrari, they've got jets, they're living that Beyonce Jay-Z life. They're living large, above and beyond anybody else. They just look like money. They drip money. When these authors did their study, they found that those individuals were actually not the ones who really truly had wealth. Those individuals were the ones who were actually drowning in debt, really trying to keep up with the Joneses. They were the ones who had nothing to show. And it was the people who actually lived very modestly, didn't have a lot of flashy goods or anything like that. And that was really just, slowly working whatever their 9 to 5 was, whatever money that came into them, they were very slow to spend it. So when they were looking at those who actually had $1 million assets in their accounts, those were the people who had it. It was the people who looked unassuming, the ones who you would never in a million years think was a millionaire. So anyways, this came as a surprise to the authors, and Stanley and Danko's book explains why, noting that high income, white collar professionals, so like doctors, lawyers, those people who, have an image to kind of upkeep type of a thing, they were more likely to devote their income to things like luxury goods, high status items, and then they would neglect things like savings and investments. So I thought that was really interesting because I don't know if you're anything like me, but when I think about somebody who's like filthy rich, aside from the celebrities, I think of somebody who looks the part. I think of, the Chanel bags and the Louis Vuitton, and I think of the big house and the big car and the boats and the this and the fancy vacations, like everything that looks like wealth. But I certainly don't think of what this book is talking about, which is totally like, it's very not sexy. Like, if I'm being real with you guys, it's not sexy at all. Like, there's nothing sexy about saving and investing money, hence why we don't hear about those versions of success. So that's kind of the definition. So a UAW, which is an under accumulator of wealth, is the people who kind of look like money, but they don't actually have money. And then the pause, that's the prodigious accumulators of wealth. Those are the people who they don't look like money, but they actually got a lot of money. So in terms of chapter 1, it talks about meeting the millionaire next door. Okay. And they say, again, millionaires do not live the high life. They budget wisely to maintain and grow their millions. And it says to literally save your money and avoid buying things you don't need. Now, this one's a really difficult one, especially coming from an influencer, somebody who loves, like, I love makeup and hair and clothing and everything more than as much as the next person. But if you are in an paw type of mindset, the mindset whereby you're trying to become a millionaire, then slow and easy, just like the tortoise, is going to win the race. Like every single time, it's going to win the race. Just jumping into the comments to say, hi, Moments by Design. Hi, David Mitchell Jr. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today's Monday Night Live. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. So I found it really interesting that they're not living this high life. The thing that I really liked about this particular chapter is you don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be, a doctor or somebody who has this business that's making millions and millions and millions of money per year. It's actually the people who are grinding every single day, who are doing the same thing every day. We're talking your teachers. Teachers are oftentimes millionaires, according to this book, actual millionaires, not in the way they look, but in the way that their assets fall. We're talking about people who have blue collar jobs. They go to work every single day. They come home, they earn an earnest living. And over the years, because they're not spending their money, it's just accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. So that's a brief synopsis of chapter 1. You guys, if you wanted to check out this book yourself, of course, I'm not going to be able to hit every single point, but what I have done today is pulled out the salient points so that if you wanted to listen to today's live and, maybe forego the book, you could. If you wanted to read the book yourself, I actually scoured the internet and I found a free PDF version, and I have it down in the link in the description box down below. So if you wanted to check that out, you certainly could. If you're old school, you're like me, you like to kind of like mark up your book, there's also a link to the Amazon tab as well too. Also, I'm moving towards more, useful, resourceful content. And in order to develop that useful, resourceful content, in order for me to continue to come at you guys with this type of information that really helped me with my transformation, super chats are definitely welcome, because those are the things that are going to start streamlining the Find Natural Hair Rocks movement a little bit more. So those are welcome as well. So let's move into chapter 2, which is so perfectly mentioned as frugal, frugal, frugal. So true millionaires, they're not sexy. They're just not sexy with their money. Frugality is a common trait amongst the wealthy, as they prioritize financial independence over flashy status symbols like expensive cars, designer clothing, accessories, and like a really lavish lifestyle. So the piece that I really got from this was that you don't want to be worrying about what the Joneses are doing. Like, who cares what they're doing? Like, at the end of the day, the Joneses are trying to keep up with the Joneses, and those Joneses are trying to keep up with those Joneses. And so really what it was saying is, like, if you can find different ways to save your money and not spend, all the better. So things like, and I didn't even realize that I was doing some of them in my undergraduate career while I was making my own transformation from being like a broke law student to getting a better handle on my money as a young Black woman, right? So, and those are the things that start to help you be able to make really big movements in life, like buying your first house or being able to invest a significant amount of money in perhaps a risky investment, right? So, essentially doing things. Some of the things that I personally did when I was in undergrad was like living with friends. So, I found 3 girlfriends and I lived with them. It really surprised me that that was actually in the book. Like things like that was mentioned in the book to reduce your costs when you can reduce your costs. So, in terms of like coffees, for example, you're going to hear a lot about maybe sometimes on the internet and in some other forms of literature, making your coffee from home or making your tea from home as opposed to purchasing it outside all the time. I think that tip is a little bit easier to follow just because like COVID-19 and everything, no one really wants to be eating out anyways, or having other people touch their food when they don't need to. So it's a little bit easier to take advantage of that. But with clothing, for example, do you really need to be dripping from head to toe in Louis Vuitton? Do you really need to be dripping from head to toe in luxury designer? No, right? Like, I think if you're somebody and the piece that I took from this for women, especially, or, forget women, but people in general who love to be fashionable, choose one item. Maybe your handbag is expensive, or maybe your shoes are expensive, or maybe your jacket is expensive, but everything else is of a reasonable price frame. That way you can kind of feel the part without, financially feeling the part, if you feel me. So that was kind of like the gist of chapter 2. The gist of chapter 3, which was time, energy, and money, was that millionaires know where and how to spend their money. So they only invest in what they know. Millionaires never really skimp on medical, legal, and tax advice. So whereas they might skimp on like where they purchase their coffee, they might not be the person who's buying Starbucks every single day. I'll be the first to admit I don't buy Starbucks every single day. Number one, I don't really think their coffee is that fantastic. And number two, I don't drink coffee that often anyways to really be needing Starbucks every single day. But nevertheless, where they never skimp on their money is, again, medical, legal, and tax. Now, the medical piece is very important for my Americans in this group in the chat right now, because you guys have to pay, unfortunately, for medical care. And so when you are paying for that, you want to really pay for that as much as you possibly can, because without your health, there's nothing. But legal and tax, that applies to anybody across the world. Like everybody will have to pay for legal. And if your taxes are, a little bit more complicated than say the regular run of the mill, maybe you have a side hustle, maybe you've got some investments, a property, whatever the case may be, you definitely want to be also investing your money in a good tax accountant, someone who's going to deal with your taxes and find the money. Because as your money starts to rise, you're going to realize that the tax man, the government, really comes after it. And so if you have a good accountant, they can help to find those different credits and, reliefs that you can find that are legal. Let's be legal, as it pertains to taxes. So number 3 was a really fantastic chapter in the sense of really talking about like where you want to invest your time, your energy, and your money. Number 4 was that you aren't what you drive. How many of you guys have like seen like a really amazing car? I'm not really into cars, but you see like a Rolls Royce, you see like a, maybe late model BMW, late model Mercedes Benz, a Porsche, a Ferrari, whatever the case may be. And you're like, whoa, that person's probably really, really, really like, they're doing well. Like, that person must be doing something big. They must have money. No, they look like money. They don't actually have money. So that's what this chapter was all about. And I thought it was really interesting. So it was essentially saying that financial independence is more important than displaying high social status. So consider purchasing cheaper domestic vehicles, even and not even brand new, you guys, secondhand. So like a Ford or a Cadillac or something that's domestic. And when I say domestic, I'm talking from a North American perspective now, because they avoid the expensive foreign vehicles like the Rolls Royce and the Mercedes Benz and the BMW, all those things. They definitely avoid that, and they never purchase brand new. So one of the biggest ways that you can waste your money is to purchase a vehicle brand new. Now, if you forego this advice, again, this is a summary of this book, The Millionaire Next Door. If you forego this advice and you choose to spend your money on a brand new car anyways, you don't want to be, you choose to spend it on a foreign vehicle anyways, you don't want to be purchasing that foreign vehicle brand new, because the minute you drive it off the lot, it literally depreciates in value. So a lot of people with I've heard them say things like, my vehicle, it's an asset. It's something that's going to, it brings me value. It doesn't. It's a car is never an asset. It's always a liability. So an asset, and this isn't in the book, but this is just me giving you knowledge from my, my arsenal of knowledge over the years now. An asset is something that's income producing. A liability is something that's income pulling. So, an asset is something like, property can be an asset, especially if it's an income generating property, like you have a second home and you Airbnb it or something like that. That's an asset. If you've got even, maybe a car, I guess technically could be an asset if you're renting it out for Uber, like somebody else is driving it as Uber, you're using it in the sense of a business structure, that could be an asset too. But in and of itself, a car is never going to be an asset. It's always going to be a liability. I don't care what kind of car it is. It's always going to be a liability. Why? Because it costs money to run on gas. It costs money to keep maintained. It costs money if you didn't buy it brand new. Now you have payments. It costs money with the insurance. It's just money. Okay. I see there's a couple of comments in the chat. Moments by Design says manifesting millionaires in this chat. Yes, 100%. So as I read this, why am I talking about this when this channel is about natural hair? I'm talking about this because I am on my own personal journey to self-actualization, to health, to well-being, to prosperity, all those things. And I felt that it would be really selfish for me to read this book that's so life-changing, so fantastic, and not share it with the Curlfriend crew. Like, I just thought that that's not something that, I would feel comfortable doing, because in order for, and again, I guess maybe there is a piece to it that's a little bit self-interested as a human rights lawyer, but I truly do believe that as a, from a advocacy perspective, the Black community, any marginalized community rather, doesn't gain their power from picketing. They gain their power from financial independence, financial well-being, prosperity, those kinds of things. In this world, for whatever reason, money speaks and everything else walks. So that's the reason why I was like, you know what? I'm going to empower my little community here on YouTube, Find Natural Hair Rocks, with the information that I receive. And if it's useful to me, if it's only useful to just one of you out there, then I've done my job. David Mitchell says, exactly. We love to wear / drive our net worth. 1,000,000%. And that is the exact way to be a UAW, someone who's losing their money, not making money, looks like money, but doesn't actually have money. Mitsuko Blay says, that's so true about cars. Yes, it really is. I'm so happy you guys are feeling this message. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. And if you know somebody who could benefit from this, then feel free to share this live with them. This is going to be permanently here on the channel after I do a few little edits to the intro and stuff like that. But other than that, the whole thing is going to be available for other people to see. Now, you guys give me a yes if you're willing to do what it takes to become a millionaire. If you're willing to stop greasing the wallets of these big corporations that are like just enjoying, making money off of our insecurities, give me a yes in the comments, because I want to know that I'm not the only one who's like thinking of, changing the scope of intergenerational financial well-being, like making sure that who comes next is going to be in a place where they can actually grow and move forward in a more positive direction financially. Okay, so in terms of chapter number 5, this one is a little bit on the sensitive side, and I'm gonna say, like, it might hurt feelings, it might make people feel a ways about themselves. That is not the intention, but it really is a gem of a chapter. So essentially, it's talking about economic outpatient care. And so what they were saying is economic outpatient care is when, as an adult, one relies on money that comes from their parents. They're not independent financially. They're not standing on their own 2 feet. When things hit the ground, they're always reaching to their parents for more. So this is actually a very effective way to prevent one from becoming a millionaire. It's very hard to become a millionaire or even stay a millionaire when you're still receiving economic assistance from your parents. So essentially, many millionaires, they share even though it can hinder their ability to obtain financial independence. So it was saying that the most financially dependent children, so those who are still asking mom and dad for money, they usually receive the largest shares of their family inheritance. And so the moral of the story, in terms of those children who never launch financially, they never become financially independent from their parents, the moral of the story is that if you have children, cut them off. Cut them off. You have to cut them off so that they can become financially independent. And if you are that child, then you have to work hard to cutting yourself off, because as good as it is in the moment, it's actually never going to be a type of situation that's going to emancipate you to be financially independent, to stand on your own feet, to ever become a millionaire. It's virtually impossible to become a millionaire if you're still accepting outpatient economic care from mom and dad. So I see in the comment box, we've got a couple people who are willing to do what it takes to become a millionaire. I see David Mitchell gave a yes. Jazzy gave a yes. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Carl Alphonse says minimalist movement is the way to go, 100%. Less is more. If you don't need it, don't buy it. So in terms of the 6th chapter, this was called Affirmative Action Family Safe. So this is where it got kind of interesting, because they were basically saying that, like, if you've got a son, that son, because, statistically speaking, they're able to make money, right? And make more money. Men still make more money on the dollar than women. And so millionaires' adult children are self-sufficient. However, if they are going to financially assist their children, they tend to assist their daughters, their adult daughters, more than they assist their adult males due to the earning potential disparities. So they also teach their children how to make money as opposed to simply giving them money. So oftentimes what you'll see is a situation where a mom or a dad who's got a lot of money to give, they make their children pay for their educational career themselves. They might not give them access to any of their wealth. They could be worth $1 billion, and their kid needs money for school, or their kid needs money for their first house, or their kid needs money for whatever is life is calling them to need money for. They will put what's called a condition precedent on that money for that person to show that they've reached a certain level of maturity, be it through marriage, be it through a trail or record of good decision making, a whole bunch of different conditions to prove that they're mature before they actually receive that inheritance. What the authors found as they were looking at these different situations is that when people gave their children money after they reached a level of maturity, they were able to prove that they would deal with that money in a responsible way. They were able to continue growing on those millions. So the family, the intergenerational wealth remained intergenerational wealth. In those situations where mom and dad are millionaires, but they gave their children money, they didn't have any condition precedents on it, anything they needed, they financially gave them. In those particular situations, they found that the children squandered the money. They never learned, the adult children never learned the value of a dollar. They never ever learned how to stand on their own 2 feet. And no matter how much money was given to that adult child, it was always somehow, some way squandered, and they always needed more. And so essentially what this chapter was saying was that you have to put your foot down. As mean as it feels, you have to put your foot down. Interestingly, what they also found when it came to those parents who gave their children money, or adult children who received money with no condition precedents, no nothing, they found that those children are actually more likely to, need even more help. So once the parents unfortunately passed away, the kids who were financially independent, they continued to be financially independent, thus becoming millionaires of their own. Whereas the ones who always needed help, they got a really huge inheritance upon the death of those parents, and then they squandered through that as well too. They also found that there was an unfair power play going on. So like, money is power, right? And between family members, that doesn't change, unfortunately. And I've seen this in my own practice as well too, in the brief time that I practiced estate litigation. When there is an adult child who is receiving a lot of economic outpatient care from mom and dad, there's also a relationship structure whereby mom and dad now have power and dominion over that adult child to tell them where to send their kids to school, where they should live, what they should do with that money. Like, all of the decisions now become joint decisions as opposed to, what should really be an independent decision. So I thought that was really interesting too, because it's like, number one, you're not becoming a millionaire by getting the help. And number two, you're not getting autonomy or independence in your thinking. I mean, who wants to be told where they should buy their first house? Who wants to be told, where they should send their kids to school, or any of the, or what you should do to help me back, or whatever the case may be? Nobody wants to be told anything. I think everybody can agree that they want to be able to make their own decisions based on their own thought processes, based on their own living scenarios, so on and so forth. So I thought that piece was really interesting in that sense. Chapter number 7 was about finding your niche. So it says to choose a business structure or niche that is likely to benefit the rich. So examples include specialized attorneys, like, funny enough, estates. Immigration was one of them as well. Medical and dental care specialists, appraisers and auctioneers, private school teachers, emphasis on private. So government teachers, their money is only capped at a certain amount, but if you're a private school teacher, sky's the limit. Accountants, home building contractors, mortgage lenders, remodeling contractors, real estate agents. That's a huge one. So one of the things, and I'm kind of just adding my own little piece onto this right now, because going to law school, going to med school, those things take decades, right? Like it takes the average lawyer about 8 to 9 years to fully get in the profession and start making money, paying off debts, whatever the case may be, getting comfortable in their career. But one of the fastest ways to become a professional and make a lot of money in a short amount of time is to go the real estate agent route. So if you are in a job that wasn't mentioned, or you are looking to level up your finances and you want more income coming in so that you can more quickly become a millionaire, given the way real estate is going right now, I would 1,000,000 times over recommend people to become a real estate agent. It's just the commissions are crazy. Land is something that's we're not getting more land. We're only getting more people. And so the opportunities for economic windfall is amazing, absolutely amazing. So number 8 was that jobs. So millionaires versus heirs to money. They say millionaires choose the right occupations. It's impossible to predict if someone is going to become a millionaire by the type of business that they're in. However, it's important to understand the problems that plague society, and that people are willing to pay to resolve. So business ownership is definitely risky, but it is important to choose the right business type and to have a fearless type of mindset. So whereas in the past, there was a boom whereby, creating clothing, men's clothing was making a lot of money. And it was pretty much a sure bet that you were going to become a millionaire if you made men's clothing. Well, the pandemic hit. Nobody really cares about clothing right now. And so that's probably not the best business structure that you might want to get into. But what people do care about right now is things like, this. They care about antibacterial hand spray. Sorry, you guys can't see it. Sanitizer. They care about other types of PPE, which is now a common household phrase. People care about being able to work from home. All of these things, people care about. And it's ripe. There's a ripe opportunity of issues that, we're looking for solutions to. So that's kind of like the breakdown, the summary of the book. Again, if you guys are interested, I think I gave the most salient points of the book, the ones that kind of like stuck out to me. They jumped off of the pages to me the most. If you're interested in reading the book, then definitely be sure to check out the free link in the description box below. You could even, implement one of the tips right now. Forget about the Amazon link that I put to like a hard copy, and just go ahead and get that PDF for free. Because there's nothing for me to gain. I'm happy because you're more knowledgeable, and that's literally it. It's not my book. I'm not sponsored by any of this. I literally just want to do my part to make sure that at least my community is leaving our time, our videos, our time together in a place of knowledge, at least more knowledgeable than they were when they stepped in. So if you are ambitious and you're willing to level up your life and you do like these kinds of things, then definitely join me over on Facebook as well. We've got a secret Facebook society where I do share little advice here and there as it relates to financial, lifestyle, of course, natural hair and beauty types of things. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. That's kind of like the formalized piece to this. I'm happy to connect with you guys. What did you guys think about all of that? Like, I kind of spewed a lot at you. You said a lot. If you guys are enjoying that, let me know, or what your thoughts are on it, because I know there was quite a bit, especially that economic outpatient care piece. And, for me, it was a really, Moments by Design said yes as well. Yes, like we're here to level up. We're here to, like, we want to look good, but we also want our finances and our personal affairs to be good too. And, if you're in this chat, I know you're somebody who's intelligent. I know you're somebody who's likely a professional or about to become a professional. Maybe you're a student. And, this is something that you think about. Like, you think about your future in productive ways. You think about how to become the best version of yourself, so to speak. So, yeah. While you guys are kind of collecting thoughts, if you are, I just wanted to let you guys know, thank you so much for watching this episode, for watching this live. Thank you for those of you guys entered the 1,500 subby giveaway. A winner has been chosen. That video will be released as soon as humanely possible. As I was saying before, there's been a plethora of issues in my portfolio, my legal policy portfolio with the work that I do off of YouTube, especially, and there's also been a lot of, just getting accustomed to living in the new house versus apartment. And so it's been a lot, but nevertheless, it's blessings. I'm happy. I'm grateful. It's just, that kind of like, you're just trying to like figure yourself out. That's exactly what it is. So yeah. That's it. That's all on my end. Thank you guys for watching. I think I'm gonna go ahead and log off then. I really appreciate you guys for joining me tonight. Definitely be on the lookout for that 1,500 subby giveaway video, and there will be a brand new upload, God willing, on Sunday, before the end of the day. Thanks so much, guys. If you like this, give it a big like and comment in the comment box down below. Love you lots. Bye.